Heyo, what is up, beautiful people? Welcome to the second episode of the More Than a Creative podcast. My name's Clyde. I'm your host, and today we're going to be talking about how I stopped being so normal. See, here's the thing: everyone does what works until it doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? Like everyone does what works until it doesn't work anymore. Everyone is becoming so globalized, which I mean, if we think about it, like that's a pretty cool thing, like the whole world essentially is united by like social media, different thoughts, different ideas. Conversations are happening that would have never happened otherwise, or people are meeting people probably wouldn't have met otherwise. And I think that's a really cool thing. But when it comes to content creation and what we consume and what we see, I don't think that's a good thing. Like for a really long time, I watched a bunch of YouTubers who I loved, who I wanted to be like. Peter McKinnon, Chris Howe, Sam Colder, Gary Vee, Daniel Schiffer, like all these awesome people who are really good at what they do. I wanted to be like them. I wanted to create what they were creating. So I watched what they made to implement and add to my arsenal and my content creation armory, I guess, and that's a good thing, like I'm not saying don't do that at first when you're starting. Like I think that was pivotal in the person that I am right now. Like the person you see in front of you is really because of those guys, right? But after a while, it wasn't really Clyde making things. It was really, how can I be, or what would Peter McKinnon do in this situation? Or what would Daniel Schiffer do in this situation? Or Parker Walbeck, or like all of these guys who are super good at what they do. Like, what would they do? And after a while, I had a question like, is this really creativity or am I just copying? And so what I want to talk about today is like this idea of globalization, how to stand out, like how to be different. And I think it's really easy. I'm going to give you 3 applications today, 3 points that I think will really help you break from the mold. It's like, 1, first of all, be intentional with what you consume. Like, I was watching these guys to just copy these guys. I wasn't trying to take their ideas into consideration to add to me. Like, I was trying to be like them, not trying to add to me, and there's a huge difference there. Like when you're trying to add to yourself, you're thinking that's not going to work. That will work. That might work. Let me try it. Okay, that worked. Let's do this. What if we did this with this? Okay, now I have something kind of cool that I can work with. Let's go from here. Right? But when you're literally just trying to be like someone else, it's almost like impossible. Like I will never be Peter McKinnon. You know what I mean? Like never. No matter how badly I want to. Like I even grow my hair. Not really. I actually grow my hair because of other reasons. But like I will never be Peter McKinnon, and that's okay. But how am I gonna try and be like Peter McKinnon when I'm not Peter McKinnon? You know what I mean? Like I can't copy all of his B-roll. I can't copy all his strategies. I don't have his equipment. I don't have his experiences. I don't have his blonde hair. I don't have his gorgeous eyes. Like I don't have. Okay, wait. Pause. I was just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm single, by the way. If anyone is looking. Oh man, I shouldn't be saying this on the podcast. Anyways, what was I meant? Oh yeah, consuming intentionally. Like we're scrolling on TikTok all day long, Instagram all day long, YouTube not as much, but and back in like 2018, 2019, that was it. You know what I mean? Like that's where our content was. That was our content hub. And whenever you're consuming content for the intention of what's trending, what's working right now, how are people being rewarded by the algorithm? Like I said earlier, like it works until it doesn't. You know what I mean? It worked for so long until it just wasn't trending anymore. And then now what are you going to do? Like you can't just continue to do the thing that's not working. Like you have to pivot, right? You have to make something new, something different. And some people struggle with that. And I think for me, like I was really struggling with um keeping up. Like it's hard to keep up and to set trends. But I'd rather be a trendsetter than a copycat, Like I'd rather be a trendsetter than a copycat. And dude, for forever I was just consuming, but I wasn't creating. Consume intentionally. Consume with the intention of adding to you rather than copying and being like somebody else just because it's working. And I get it's working. Like right now, TikTok is huge, right? And we see all these trends and a lot of people go viral for doing a trend. It's so easy to go viral on TikTok compared to the other platforms. And it's just so like achievable, right? And we want that for us. And so we do these trends and we do these things and we get rewarded for it with like likes, follows, all that jazz. But as a creative person, it's only really to our own detriment that we're doing these things, Because if we're just following the next trend, following the next creative person, you're not actually being creative. You're really just copying for the purpose of being rewarded by the algorithm. Like you're a slave at that point. You know what I mean? Be intentional with what you consume. This leads me to my next point. Detox regularly. Like regularly detox from social media, from the thoughts and opinions of other people and ideas of other people, and detox from your mentors, from the people around you. Like just take a step back, like regularly. I think I'm saying regularly wrong. Regularly. What I mean by that, I'm not saying like cut yourself off from the world and like go crazy, but like actually I kind of am. Like give yourself a sec, get off social media for a little bit. Don't ask the questions that you want to ask of your mentors. Like try and figure it out, and see what you come up with because that leads to originality. And that is what's different. Like you're not being unoriginal, like you're not copying the trends, you're not following the trends, but you're trend setting, by being yourself, being original. What social media does, it gives you hits of dopamine every single time you scroll, right? And whenever we get back to real life, because eventually you'll have to, everything just seems grayer, right? Because our brain has gotten so used to what happiness should feel like to our brain that we forget what happiness, or I guess like we really just overlook the little joys, the little things of life that are so inspiring, like so like beautiful, like gorgeous, like I think about my mom or like the clouds that are literally so different every single day. Or I just blanked. Or like even how light bends differently, like sunsets, Like these are pretty general things, but if you look for the beauty in little things, you'll see it. Like if you just look for it, you'll see it, you know? And I think that's what's going to separate you from um people is like take a step back. Look for the little things in life and be inspired by those things. Like situations, circumstances, things that you've been through. Your experiences are unique to you, you know? And that leads me to my third and final point. Find freedom in who you are and be excited for who you're becoming. Dude, if you can do this, you will be set apart. Set apart, like originality creates newness, which is creativity, right? Because an experience that's unique to you. Like other people haven't seen that before. Other people haven't experienced the things that you've experienced. And whenever they see that, they're like, oh, wow, I never thought of life that way. Why? Because you have a perspective that's different and unique to you. Don't ever forget that. Oh. So I gotta wipe the sweat. I'm just on fire. You know what I'm saying? Um, I just did that. Hey, that means I'm getting more comfortable on camera. That deserves an applause. Anyways, yeah, like just dude, be intentional with what you consume. Detox regularly, and find freedom in who you are and excitement in who you're becoming. And you're gonna find yourself creating things that you didn't think about. Because when was the last time you had an original thought? You know, that wasn't influenced by social media or what my friends think or what my mom or dad think or what my mentors think or what my best friend thinks or what my boyfriend or girlfriend thinks. Like, when was the last time you had an original thought by just getting away for a little bit, you know? And dude, I remember for so long, I would literally not tell people that I'm a Christian just because I wanted to fit in. And that was so bad. Like, that is just a part of who I am. You know, that's Clyde. That's a part of Clyde. And I would, and you know, like, you know how it goes. It's hard to hang around people when they know you're a Christian because they start acting different. Like, they act like you're not just another dude. Like, dude, I'm just a guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just Clyde. And it's just funny because, like, they'll change how they talk around you, or they'll like not share with you things anymore, or they'll distance themselves from you. And I was just like, for a while, I wasn't able to find freedom in who I was because I was trying to be like the people who I wanted to be like. Like, I wanted to hang out and fit in with my friends. So I talked like my friends, you know? And that's not like necessarily like a bad thing, you know? Like, it's cool to pick up good things and good habits from people for sure, like 100%. But when it's consuming you and changing you to a point where you're like, you don't even recognize yourself, like, how's that freedom? Like, how's that free? You know? It's not. Like, in fact, it's kind of like bondage in a sense. Like, you're kind of a slave to the thoughts and opinions of other people. And so once I was able to fully embrace that for myself, like, yeah, I'm a Christian. Like, what about it? You know? What do you want to know? Because I'll gladly tell you. I was able to find freedom in my creativity. Like, I was able to just be like myself and talk freely with people because these are my thoughts. These are my ideas, you know? I'm already validated by the God of the universe. So I'm not really worried about what you think or what you don't think because ultimately I know that I'm beautifully and wonderfully made like God says I am. You know what I mean? And I took things with a grain of salt. Like, I took truths or compliments as like half compliments. Like, I'd take like, oh, that was really nice. That was really sweet, but I'm not going to let it get to my head. But I am going to keep doing what's good because I got compliments from it. Or when I got an insult, I'd be like, hey, that was a little negative and that kind of hurt, but here's what we can take from that. And this is how we can get better. Right. And whenever I was able to realize that, I was becoming the person that I wanted to be in the world, you know, like I could be myself and be the change and impact people in a way that was genuine and had intention behind it. Like, I'm living a life right now with intentionality and genuinity. Like, that's sick, bro. Like, I'm freaking vibing, you know? Oh man, that's so exciting. I'm so happy for myself. But yeah, like, just dude, embrace yourself. Like, you're an awesome, really cool person. And if you're not, then you have the potential to get better. So get excited about that. Like, you really can't lose. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how I stopped being so normal. Like, I just was myself and I was different. And that made me a better creative. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys for joining for the second episode of the More Than a Creative podcast. I'm sweating because I'm freaking hyped. And I'm super excited for next week's episode. Thank you again for tuning in. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Follow my TikTok. It's called Clyde Smith III. We had 100 followers last week because of the clip, and I was like pumped. So if we can make that to 200 followers this week, that'd be lit. yeah, check out my socials. They're all the same. Clyde Smith the third. Clyde Smith I. So have a great week. I love you guys. I'm for you guys, and I'll see you on episode 3.